We invented everything. Yeah. Thank God I'm black. Thank God I'm black. Thank God I'm black. We invented everything. Yeah. Thank God I'm black. Thank God I'm black. Thank God I'm black.
What's going on, guys? This is the Boot Brother Podcast, and we are unapologetically Black podcast about business and life. I am Sean Item. I'm one of your hosts, and my co-host is the Jason King. Our guest today is Brother King Cam.
Yes, sir. First, I'd just like to thank yourself, Brother Sean and Brother Jason, for allowing me to come on the platform and inviting me to the platform just to talk about, things that are unapologetically Black.
Yes, sir.
As a student and follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I strive to be very, very humble and servant, working for our people. So I'm just very appreciative of the opportunity. And just really, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just a humble servant working to, for the liberation of Black people in America and all people, poor and oppressed people all over the world. So we're working to raise the dead, as well as teaching entrepreneurship on a digital scale.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. So thank you for that intro. Brother Cam, for those that don't know, where you from, man? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you spend most of your childhood at?
Originally from Richmond, Virginia.
And what's it like in VA? In the old VA?
VA, yeah, exactly. 2 up, 2 down. We got the clips, Missy Elliott, Pharrell. So yes. Timberland, VA ain't that bad. You know what I mean? 757. Yeah. Now Richmond, we don't necessarily have no legends like that coming out, but we do have some rich history in Richmond. In all honesty, especially when you're talking about Black history, Bojangles. You're talking about the rich history of the Jackson Ward area of Richmond, Virginia, that was very prominent at a certain point in time with Black businesses and things of that nature. So, when you start to understand that, then you are able to say, okay, we got the Maggie L. Walker School in Richmond, Virginia. So, it's a lot of history there once you get into it. Growing up, one thing that we didn't have is the opportunities that bigger cities have. We had to go with the Washington Redskins as our football team and, all of that kind of sad stuff that we had to go through being from Richmond. So, but other than that, though, you learned a lot. And what I'm starting to learn, too, is that a lot of these, no matter what city you in, right, the condition of Black people is like the same.
The same.
So we doing the same wild, ratchet stuff, no matter what city you in. You know what I mean? So, Richmond, was a cool place, man.
Dope. You mentioned some of the legends that come from that area, whether it be Pharrell, whether it be Timberland, whether it be Missy. How do so many, hit makers come from that one area? Like, what is it about that area that's able to produce such successful people in music?
Yes, sir. Well, it's not actually Richmond. All of them are from 757. So
Virginia.
You talk about the Norfolk, Portsmouth area, Newport News, and things of that nature. But we all interconnected, really, because a lot of people from Richmond go down to the 757. They go down to Virginia Beach.
Okay.
So we kind of all know each other, especially when you get into Beach Week in college. Norfolk State, Old Dominion. Because Virginia is a big college state.
Okay.
There's a lot of colleges there, so you start to branch out really with the college. But when you're talking about the music, the Richmond or Virginia is right there in the middle, right above the Mason-Dixon line, where all of the music has to come through. So rather the music is coming out of Brooklyn and coming down to the south, it got to come through Virginia. If it's coming out of Atlanta or coming out of the South, Texas or New Orleans, then it got to come through Virginia to get to New York. Okay. So Virginia is one of those places that you have to pass through in order to, in order to bridge the gap. It's a heavy college town. So when you're talking about breaking artists, then you do that on college campuses with college DJs and homecomings and things of that nature. So when you talk about that, it's a rich history there, and we just happen to have some diamonds in the rough, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I know you had some of your beginnings as far as entrepreneurship and party promotion. How did that even come about, man? You know, like I hear people talk about that, but that's never even been something that I entertained. I went to the party. I never really thought about promoting it. So how did that come about?
Well, it came about because me and all my boys was always at a party. You know, we was always at a party. We was at all of the parties because we was trying to be where the girls was at. So we was at all the parties. And one theme that I look at it now is that all of the parties that we went to, you know, the promoters seemed like they was making some money.
Okay.
So we was at high school parties. Then we was going to the club. Once we graduated from the high school parties, then we started going to the club. So we at the club, and I'm seeing these young dudes in college, and they seeming like they making money. They popping bottles, you know, they doing all this other kind of stuff. They all with the pretty girls and VIP, you know. So I'm like, man, hold on. Let me see what's going on. What's this party promoter type of situation? They seem like the dudes that had all the big following on social media and everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, let me see what's going on with that and how you can make some money. So I, you know, a mentor and a brother of mine, man, by the name of J. Dub Carter, who really got me into that life or into that scene, really, when it comes to the party promotion, music management, music business. He's the one that really showed me a lot of that, taught me a lot of that, taught me about the street promotions and things of that nature. So it was through his and our relationship, and he saw the entrepreneurial spirit and the hustle that I had. He helped me get through a lot of these doors, introduced me to a lot of the big official party promoters in the city that kind of opened up, let me in, and I kind of just started to see, you know, exactly what everything was about. And really, man, I started just with other street teams or already party promotion companies that was out here. You know, I knew a couple guys, so I kind of just assisted them in pushing the flyer. And then because I coupled that with the music promotion, because J-Dub was like the first artist that I promoted and managed. So, you know, I was going to the club and to the DJs with the music. I kind of mirrored the two together. So I was like the only one in the city that was actually pushing the artist and promoting a party. So that kind of gave me like some leverage, and they saw what we was doing. It was different. You know, they allowed me to come in the game and to really get that experience. And one of the things I found out is that it's not as easy as it seems, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the social media stuff was blown up. People was buying followers and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. You know, so the social media presence wasn't even real, especially what I know today wasn't even real. Then you talk about what happened was these people had, and you know what, now that I think about it, I draw a lot of comparisons to what we teach in the ABS tribe in digital real estate, building the email list, having a network of people.
Correct.
And all of the established party promoters had a network of people already. They was doing email blasts, you know, they was doing all that kind of stuff to let their network know that they was having a party, and that's how they was able to draw these crowds and stuff like that. It wasn't just posting on social media and thinking you was going to draw everybody like that. So, you know, that's really what it was.
Yo, that's funny that you say that, because like when I was in college, you know, when I pledged and I crossed across in 2007, me and my frat brothers, we were doing like similar things because, you know, we had to throw parties to generate money for our charity events. It's so funny that you said that, because we got into like party promoting, like doing all of that stuff, and we didn't even realize it to the point to where, you know, when y'all look at DJ like Bebe, if you go back and you look at Theta Chi chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha, we booked Bebe before he was even known. So like I know Bebe for years. And then we booked Webby and all types of stuff. We had so much fun doing that. So I understand, like, when you talking about how it was, like, where the women was at, we was always there throwing those parties. And we, like, this was before Instagram and, like, stuff, like, shot off. And we was just using Facebook. We were so naive to, like, digital real estate then. If I knew what I knew right now, everybody that we, in my fraternity, would probably be millionaires. because the push that we had, literally, we could rent out the Coliseum because we always had step shows and stuff that everybody in Louisiana came through because we were such like we wasn't a HBCU, but majority of our members at that time, we had 46 members. So we was the biggest chapter of Phi Alpha in Louisiana at that time. So we had so many people coming to our party. I remember one party, we literally cleared $100,000 and it was like nothing because we had Bebe, we had Sammy, we had all these people coming in to bring that energy to that school. And when you say it's like about party promote, it's so funny that people don't know what goes in the back end. Like the DJ, you got to pay for the DJ, then the equipment to get down there. Then you got to pay for the artist. Then you got to rent the building, and you got to have insurance. But from your view, it looked like everybody balling. But
right.
But it's That's so right. weird.
And look, to go ahead and veggie back off of what Brother Jason just said, Brother Sean. Everything he said is 100% accurate. I bear witness, bro, because I didn't know from the outside coming in. You don't know the extent of the intricate networks. Most of the party promoters, most of them are a part of a fraternity, right? Most of them are a part of a fraternity. So whether it's the Alphas or the Omegas or the Kappas, that was the driving engine, really, because you got to think about it. These are the most popular dudes on the campus. Correct. So they have all of the girls that want to come and party with them, and all of the dudes that don't have the girls but see the guys with the girls. They trying to follow them, so they come to the party just off the rip. You know, and then like you said, you book all the artists. That's all party promoters do. They book all the artists right before they blow. Because when you talk about dang, what's my man out of DC? Trail. What's the
Fat Trail?
Fat Trail. We was booking Fat Trail because he used to be in a group called the Slutty Boys before he was Fat Trail. He was in a group. They was booking Fat Trail and them to come to VA for all the college parties like crazy before he blew. All of them, like you said, man, there's so many artists that came to VA before they blew. Man, you wouldn't imagine. And that's all the party promoters was doing because you could get them for $4,000, $3,000, and all you do is got to pay them up front. So you come up with the $1,500 up front, boom, you pay them. Then on the back end, you hustling for all your tickets. Come on, Jason. We selling tickets for $10, $15.
Hey.
Get that other $1,500 up. And then you gotta get the DJ, like you said, you gotta pay the DJ $300-$400, especially if he popping a little bit. You gotta pay him $300-$400. You know what I'm saying? All of that. And then you gotta think about it. When you got about 6 or 7 brothers that's on this, all the bread got to be spent 7 ways.
Yeah. Ain't no money.
Yo, it was crazy. That's why they was trying to get the artists though. Because the artist was really drawing out the biggest crowd. And this was a technique too that I learned too. You get a small building. You get a small building, you get a bar or something, and you get something small that can hold 100 people. You know what I'm saying? And then all the videos got it packed, looking like it's packed.
Yes.
Like it's jumping, bro.
Yes, listen.
Some scammers.
I learned so much. And like Brother Jason said, if we knew what we knew today with digital real estate, and we can run it like that, bro, you like I said, we could have been selling products.
Yeah, for sure.
Making money, bro. Really.
So let me ask you a question, Brother Cam. So did you see a career in entertainment, or like where was that going, or was that just a short time thing? Like what was the long term play with that?
Okay, so let me tell you. Okay, so I started out, me and my mans, my boys, we started out wanting to do music, right? Getting in, rapping and all that kind of stuff. And we got into the digital, world when they first gave us laptops in middle school. So we got in, so we was on our laptops in middle school and all that stuff. Then we started recording music and we was rapping in high school and doing all that kind of stuff. Then, we got official. I told you, my man Dub, he older than me and my boys. He older than us by like 9 years, right? So he was really a rapper though. Like he got to the point where he was on tour with like Chris Brown and Trey Songz before they Pop. But right at the top, he was like one of the rappers with them. So he was showing us how, you supposed to set your LLC up. That's how I learned about LLCs and business structure and all that kind of stuff. As an artist, you're supposed to have all that stuff too. So he got us more in a professional way, teaching us how to master the craft as far as like your breathing techniques, as far as being an artist and all of that kind of stuff. So we started doing official mixtapes with an official DJ, getting our music not only mixed, but mastered and everything like that. We was doing all that kind of stuff. And then with the problem we ran into in Virginia is that nobody wants to post, or nobody wanted to promote a local artist, right? Nobody wanted to push the local artist. So what I said was, okay, I need to promote. If I can get into the promotion game, then I can promote the music too. Right? Okay. So because we get in front of the crowd of people, then you can promote the music. So that was my thinking. Like I just wanted to be in the entertainment game, whether it was on the music management or as an artist or promotion. But I was like, okay, let's figure out some different ways other than just rapping and trying to be rappers. So that's what got me going in that direction. And again, the Dub put me on to so much information where I learned the music business, and we started to learn so much other things. So then that's how I shifted over into media, because my first podcast was a hip hop podcast that he told me about the podcasting game and all of that kind of stuff. So I started to learn about that, research on the podcasting game, and taught me about the different regulations that happen with the FCC on the radio and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what got me into the media, because I said I can get on my podcast, promote the music, promote everything that we got going on, and still be able to be an artist. So that's how I got headed towards that direction. And then at the time of the Trayvon Martin situation is when I started to get into the community aspect of things, community activism, and wanting to speak out about, the things that were happening in the Black community.
Now you're doing this at this time, you're doing this solely on your podcast, or are you doing this social media? Like, what is the outlet for you to be able to get that message out during that time?
Well, 2011, I believe, is the first time I was on. I got on social media. Not first time, because I was on MySpace and Black Planet and all that stuff. But like as far as Facebook is concerned, Facebook, Instagram, like 2011, 2012. So at that time, I'm pushing the music, I'm pushing the parties on social media, things like that. I'm not really speaking as far as like doing videos on social media till about. As far as community activism is concerned, until about 2014, maybe 2014 is when I'm starting to do more community activism driven videos. Before, it's about the party promotion, because I had created something called the campaign trail. Because let me tell you where the name came from. The name came from our understanding that political figures use a campaign to make themselves known to the people. Right? So my government name is Zaki, but everybody used to call me Young Key as far as like rapping. That was my rapping name, Young Key. Then, as I did more party promotion, I wanted to change the name from Young, because I didn't want Young in front of it. I wanted to do something that was more universal. Yeah. So then I said, okay, I said, I'm going to be king of the campaign. But I was running my own campaign as far as the music, the promotion, all that stuff. So if it was official King Cam or King Campaign, and then it changed into King Cam. So it was king of the campaign because I was the king of my own campaign as far as pushing the music, as far as the message, the brand, and everything that we doing. So that's where the name came from. Got it. And as I was doing more drops and stuff with the music and talking about hip hop and stuff going on in the community, then Trayvon Martin was in 2012. So yeah, 2013, 2014 is when I started to continue to talk about hip hop, but blended the community message into the podcast. So I started doing a podcast, and I had 3 hosts on the podcast. I had myself, and I had 2 other co-hosts, and I had a female, and she was the co-host, and we would talk about hip hop and things that was happening in our city, with the Black community and all of that kind of stuff. So in 2013, 14 is when we had is when I really started using social media for that platform. and speaking out. And then also, I was always active in the streets. So, like I said, because I created something called the Campaign Trail, which was every weekend I was going to different clubs, getting dub music played. We was going to hollering at the DJs, pulling up in the clubs, getting the music spent, whatever. And I'm taking videos of the people dancing to the music and on Snapchat and Instagram and all that kind of stuff, trying to build a following. So, and I created that Campaign Trail. Welcome to the Campaign Trail. I started a blog doing it and everything. And it's kind of talking about how we moving that night, what club we going to, who we meeting, the purpose, all of that kind of stuff, right? And then it kind of morphed into Campaign TV, which was like the marketing, promotion, media, where I started doing more of the media side, where I was doing interviews with people. Obviously, I was doing videos, but then I started doing interviews with some of the people that I knew. Because at this point, I knew all of the biggest DJs, all the biggest party promoters in the city, all of that stuff. So I just told them, like, look, let me do an interview with you. And they was like, they had never seen nothing like that before. Nobody had really asked them to do nothing like that. So it was different. So I was really getting the streets. And in the process of doing that, I was able to get into the political arena when during the mayoral race, when Richmond was electing a new mayor, and Doug had some connections with some people that's in politics that allowed me to get into those meetings and those circles, with the mayoral candidates. And I was able to do a big interview with one of the bigger mayoral candidates in the city at that time. And I actually sat down and we had nice restaurants, nice ambiance, and did a real good interview. Just talking about him being the mayor. He had a big scandal behind him at the time and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So that's how that kind of morphed into that. So I got into media, through being a hip hop artist and stuff like that, but using the platform to be able to speak, talk about my opinion and also speak about the issues that affect our community.
Mm-hmm. So it seems like now, if we fast forward to more of the modern times, 2020, and it seems like you talk about more of a certain type of you're speaking to a certain type of narrative now. What was the transition from still kind of interviewing DJs, kind of being on the political front to like more? Sounds like you're almost like, if we were talking about 80-20 on your page, it seems like a lot of it's more socially conscious, a lot of it's more politically influenced as far as what you got on your content now. How did that happen?
Absolutely. Well, my whole thought behind it was that I wanted to be more consequential and wanted to be more. I wanted the message to really mean something, right? I didn't want to be on social media and not be talking about anything that people could benefit from. So
did something happen to like make that transition? Like, take me back there, or is it just over time as you mature, you just decided you wanted to use your platform in a different way?
Well, like I mentioned before, when the Trayvon Martin thing really hit, that really affected me in a way where it's like, man, that's really like, that's messed up. And then the way that they handled it, it was like, I saw the racial tensions growing and all of that kind of stuff. And then it was like the Mike Brown and then the Tamir Rice. So it was like back to back. And somebody has to speak out against this type of stuff. And I don't see nobody or hear nobody talking about it in a way that it needs to be addressed. So my family was in the Nation of Islam in the first resurrection in prior to 75, right? So I had the Nation in my background, but I wasn't actively in the Nation, or I wasn't a registered member at this time. We had transitioned. I had actually gone. My mother had actually married my younger brother's father, and his mom was a Christian pastor. So we got into the church and things like that. And then going back up to all of these different things happening, I'm like, man, I don't hear no voice, nobody really saying nothing. So what happened was I started to see those Dr. Umar videos on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
I started to see a lot of the Dr. Umar videos on YouTube, and I was liking what Dr. Umar was saying. And I was really getting, behind his message and everything that Dr. Umar was saying. I was like, man, Umar on point. And then I'm listening to the Dick Gregory and stuff. And then you know how on YouTube they give you suggest.
Oh yeah, they'll keep you on there all night if.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. So I'm binge watching. I'm binge watching stuff at this point. Then me and Dub. And me and Dub having these conversations about the behind the scenes stuff in the hip hop industry, and he talking to me about label heads and label execs and Tommy Mottolas and all of that kind of stuff going on. So all this happening at the same time, and then I come across Brother Ben X's video. I come across Ben video, and I'm like, hold on a minute. I know it's some young people in the nation. Because at this point in my mind, I'm thinking it's like I never saw no young brothers in the nation, right? So I'm like, man, hold on. So I go to Ben page, and there ain't nothing but the minister on there, right?
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay. So now I'm listening to the minister. Boy, I'm getting fired up now. So then I'm like, man, Umar is goddamn on like the younger version of the minister, right? But the minister bringing it so hard. I'm like, yo, this crazy. So then I see Brizza Islam. So I'm like, okay, all right. So it's young brothers in the nation. So at this point, I'm working with another brother that had kind of blew up on social media and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, we need to start our own organization. My next door neighbor, me and him still tight to this day. At that point in time, he was like on his roster, Rastafarian spiritual situation. So me and him talking about liberation of black people, that's our daily conversation and all that.
Sir.
So we like, yo, we got to start our own.
We always have like one homie.
Yeah. So, so we got to start our own organization. We got to liberate our people. We're going to start in our community and all that.
Yes, sir.
So we putting that together. We putting the plans together. And then the more I watch Brother Ben, I'm like, man, you know what? While I'm trying to reinvent the wheel, let me go on to the mosque real quick and see what's happening down at the mosque. So that's how I ended up going back to the mosque in 2000 and at the end of 2016, the beginning of 2017. Yeah, beginning of 2017, I started going back to the mosque in Richmond. And then I'm getting more of the teachings. I'm listening to the minister. I'm rocking Brother Ben X show. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm doing. And that's what kind of changed the narrative because I'm like, okay, I want to be able to speak on behalf of, the youth and talk about the things that's going on the same way that the minister giving the message, the same way that he giving it to our people. That's how I wanted to do it and really just got back into, the teachings and using that to speak towards what we talk about now as far as the suffering of our people, but also not to exclude. I don't ever want to exclude the hip hop part of the journey or the content. That's why you still see me put up rappers and stuff on my page. It's because I can find not only just through the music, but now the artists are speaking more on topics anyway.
For sure.
So now I'm able to go into their interviews and look at a Kevin Gates interview or a Boosie interview or, anybody interview that's a hip hop, part of hip hop in some type of way, Dame Dash, and draw from that educational, nuggets and gems to give to the people. Because I think for me, I can't never separate the two because hip hop is cultural, and Dub always taught me that music was international. So that's the way that you're able to bring people together. That's the way that Bob Marley was able to affect so many people because the music is in the international language. And the minister said the same thing. So, I always wanted to keep that part. So I like to always keep my stuff hip hop and political, hip hop and political, and keep it up to the time.
The only thing I think you ever did questionable regarding hip hop was when you thought that Gucci was going to be Snowman. That's the only thing that I thought was a little crazy.
Look.
Stop it.
Look, Guwap was right there. Until Gigi started unleashing the bangers now. They got a whole,
I'm just teasing you, man.
Oh, because Guwap was right there, song for song. You barely stretched for about 8 or 9 songs. Gucci was there, but then when he played the songs that just for Gucci fans, I'm like, oh man. I said, because I'm thinking to myself, I said, Jeezy playing. He ain't even playing all this stuff yet. Oh, here we go.
It was a good moment though. Like overall, like you talked about being able to kind of find the positive. I saw a lot of yourself, 19 Keys, Ben. A lot of y'all were able to pull the better part out of that. With squashing the beef and to grown 40-year-old men acting like 40-year-old men eventually. So that was good.
And the ministers always tapped into the hip hop community. You know, when you look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he always talking. He's been doing that since the 90s. You know, he always sat down with all the hip hop artists. That's why your Russell Simmons, your Dame Dash, and brother, if you get a chance to talk to brother Hashim, he'll tell you how, you know, him getting in the cypher with DMX and Jay-Z and all of them. You know, it's just the nation has always been a part of the hip hop community, the entertainment community with Eddie Murphy. I mean, all of Michael Jackson, the Nation of Islam has secured probably all of the top entertainers, you know, in all of those arts and culture industries. They know and respect the Nation of Islam for the things that we've done, and they love the minister. And he constantly gives them guidance, even all the way up into today, where he done met with Migos and Young Thug and, you know, all of the young brothers. So yeah, man. So you can't. So for me, you know, hip hop is it.
Awesome. I know. Brother Jason was he's still looking to go back to that Gucci moment. So let my co-host have his little words. What's up, Jason?
First of all, I understand the whole situation with Gucci and Jeezy, but Gucci Mane did not play Cushions by Cologne. He didn't play Freaking Girl. He didn't play none of his good songs. And this is what I'm gonna tell you about Jeezy. If you look at how he got started, it was because of Gucci Mane. Don't ever forget that.
It's so icy. It's so icy was like a catapult for Jeezy, because really, you know, Gucci was running Atlanta at the time. Like, he was running Atlanta, and you had some underlying. See, a lot of people don't know how heavy Shawty Lil was in Atlanta too.
Yes,
for like him, you know, him really assisting in T.I. career in certain aspects. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of history that goes untold, and that's why I like Drink Champs. That was one of my first podcasts that I really started watching, because I like the way, because Nori had all of the connects with all the artists. And when they get on there, man, and they talk about the history and stuff of a lot of things that go on, bro, it's so impactful for me, because you didn't know that stuff was happening at that time period. So like the different stuff going on with Murder Inc. and Irv Gotti, you know, how influential the Dream is in Atlanta, how long the Dream been getting money, you know what I mean? As far as like who he done wrote songs for, Neo and his penmanship as a writer, even before he came out as an artist. I mean, it's just so much history there when you talk about that. So yeah, man. Gucci was very instrumental in a lot of people, career. And you know, too, like you said, Jeezy was the first artist that was coming out of that, out of that whole situation, because they was tied in the BMF, and they was actually pushing Blue Da Vinci first. Beach was pushing Blue Da Vinci first as their artist, not Jeezy. Jeezy was there, but he wasn't the number one artist. They was pushing Blue Da Vinci.
Jeezy got hot.
Yeah, but Jeezy got hot.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Once he did that, Dust is So Icy, and then Boys in the Hood, and they had Diddy behind that whole Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, that machine for sure.
So I was able to take it to another level.
Awesome. So I wanted to kind of segue into, you have over, and correct me if I'm wrong, but 20 something thousand followers, right, on IG?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think you'd be a good person to ask. How do you've had several videos go viral. How do you get a video to go viral? What's that good comment? If you look back at some of your things that have done really well, what has been that secret sauce that you feel like those videos, those commonalities on those ones that really did well? How did they go viral? What would you say led to being able to have that type of result and impact?
Well, it's a combination. It's really a combination of different things. The first thing I would say is timing. So it's the same way with hip hop artists, a lot, or any type of artist, R&B. Timing is very crucial to dropping an album, releasing a song. You know, all of that kind of stuff plays into the part on how much momentum you're gonna get. So it's the same thing with with releasing content on certain things. It's timing with trending topics. So the beautiful thing about the personal brands, and why I like them over business brands, is that you're able to really tie in trending topics to your message. That allow you to be able to ride that wave, right? So on top of you having good timing and being able to find an educational or, however way you can tie your message in to what that current trending topic is, and also utilizing the different growth strategies that we teach in digital real estate, when it comes to hashtags, when it comes to, getting in those groups on Facebook, when it comes to also even pushing it like Joe Stone talks about, if you got some money in the cut that you could put behind the advertisement as far as like influencers, getting them to post it on different, on their pages in front of their followers helps out a lot. And then also Facebook ads. If you got a little money to play with and you can run a Facebook ad and it's allowing you to open up, allowing it to open up so you can get more views on your social media platforms, then all of those things help. Because initially, everybody's compressed in social media, right?
That's right.
Even with the followers, if you have 10,000 followers, 10,000 people not seeing all your stuff. Yeah. And it's built like that on purpose, so the algorithm allows for engagement to open it up. So, but when you started from the bottom, it's hard to get that engagement. You really have to grind it out. One of the things that Brother Ben did or was able to do with his Facebook following was not only did he grow an organic following on YouTube, let me say that, grew an organic following on YouTube and was able to slide some of that over to Facebook, but also he had a partner on Facebook that has a big Facebook group of over, I know, at least 50 to 100,000 members in the group. And because Brother Ben would do current events and current news, he would share Brother Ben X's videos in exchange for Ben putting the logo of Urban Intellectuals on the video.
I remember that.
So if you go back and look at Brother Ben old stuff, news stuff, current news stuff, you'll see Urban Intellectuals on the bottom of the screen. So Ben was getting shared in front of those hundreds of thousands of people from that group, and then that group where people were sharing it out to all those different people, which allowed his Facebook to really grow. Because Facebook is like almost essential to YouTube and growth. Man, it's a real hard. It's hard to do from the bottom up. And a Facebook ad, or if you got somebody like that's an influencer or has a community of people that will put your content in there on a daily basis and allow people to share it, and you can grow that way. Those are really the growth techniques in doing that. So I utilize the timing, the trending topics, making sure that the title is catchy, and sometimes you gotta throw a little clickbait out there. You gotta throw it where you make it clickable. You gotta make it clickable. So you gotta ask the question. You gotta ask the question you already know the answer to, right? But you ask the question because you want to get the feedback from the people. So you kind of get that, and you able to look at certain stuff and see what's gonna get the people talking. So when you look at a certain trending topic that's going on, especially like if you got, for example, with the Tory Lanez and the Megan Thee Stallion situation, that's really, you can talk about Black couples, Black relationships. Then you could just ask a question, that's, that can trigger the women or that can trigger the men, I can't think of one off the top of my head right now, but something that'll get the people talking. And then they'll have them coming in because, everybody always wants to give their opinion, especially with Black relationships and things like that. So a combination of those different things allow the videos to go viral, and then they just take off because once they get momentum, boom, everybody talking about it. They just tagging their friends. So after a while, you don't even see me on there no more. Like you get in the beginning, and that's another thing. You get in and you always responding to, people comment, asking them for their feedback. What do they think? All of that kind of stuff. And then, like I said, you can tell because once the notifications start going off, like back to back to back, you're like, this getting ready to go crazy. And then people start adding their other friends, and then I don't even got to say nothing more. Everybody having a conversation on the post, and all that engagement is just causing it to open up, and it just goes.
That's awesome. So we're almost in 2021. Everybody's coming up with their strategies. They're planning, or they're supposed to be planning. to have a big year next year, what is something that a brick and mortar or any type of business could start doing on social media to make sure that they win next year, pertaining to social media in particular?
Putting out content and letting the people see the process or go through the experience, right? When I was working for a professional, I am a professional dog trainer, and I had a brother that I was working with and really had got me into that when I first moved to Atlanta. And one of the things I used to tell him, because he had videos that went viral like on YouTube and stuff like that, kind of like on accident. He didn't know what he was doing, but he had, he got this crazy nice Dogo Argentino. He was teaching them bite work, so it was just like a video that would go viral, right? But he didn't really understand, the social media game. And as I was taking Brother Ben X's course at the time when it was I'm money and paid lead and stuff, I'm learning different stuff, and I'm telling them, like, you gotta let people into the experience and learning more about how you can create products, teach courses, teach people how to dog train. And one of his things was he didn't want to teach people everything because he thought it would put him out of business, right? When it's the exact opposite. You teach people everything that you know, because most of the people ain't going to do it no way. They're going to be like, you know what? That's cool. You told me all of that, but I want you to do it because I don't have the time to do it. And I'm not about to go through all that. So I'm going to just pay a premium price and have you do it. So now you can't say that I didn't tell you how to do it. Now you already made the decision to go ahead and come to me. So I think, in 2021, it's just opening up, letting people see the process, giving them content, giving them behind the scenes as you working on different stuff, brand openings, product launches, just the daily grind. If you look at Gary Vee, a lot of his content is all of that. And one of the things he talked about in his book, Crushing It, is people think they have to create content, right? I got to create, I got to sit down and I got to get creative. He said, don't create, document. Document, don't create. Document, don't create. So that means just roll the camera and just do you, as far as what you're doing, talking about the different things that you talk about, and then you can turn that into the content, right? Because it's authentic, it's genuine, it's giving the people, what they want to see, because it's building that relationship to say, okay, this how they doing what they're doing. This is how they creating that media. This is how, they go through the process of drop shipping. This is how, the everyday operations of Brother Sean in the barbershop and what they're doing in there, the camaraderie and all of that. And when you look at all of the, just the landscape of what's going on digitally, you see a lot of businesses doing that with these shows like Bar Rescue, and you're talking about all of these other different TV shows that's showing behind the scenes with businesses. You got your Shark Tanks. I mean, you just got so many models that you could look to about how they marketing to the people just by sharing their stories and their experiences. People are going to want to come and check you out. So, I think that's one of the biggest things in 2021 is share your experience and let people see it.
Awesome. So I got a few more questions for you, man. We're going to get you on out of here. One of my things is many people might not know, but this is one of Brother Ben's initial students. So he's like, he been around, before a lot of the programs started really blowing up to what they are today. So I wanted to know, what has been your biggest takeaway? What's your best memory as far as being taught by Brother Ben, especially because, in the beginning, it was a really intimate group. So what are some of those memories? What has been the biggest takeaway from being able to work with him almost like on a one-on-one situation many times?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest takeaways is consistency. I think Brother Ben, if you saw from the beginning to today, he's the same. He's consistent in what he's teaching. He's not the same, right? Because we all grow and we all are working to reach that next level of growth and evolution. So he's not the same as he was back then. He's a lot more polished, right? And his speaking and everything like that. But he's the same and consistently teaching the same thing and giving you the updates, but also in the authenticity in which he does it. The same way he does the ABS Tribe is the same way that he did it when we was teaching back in Pay the Lead and Our Money. He gives the same amount of time, the same amount of attention to detail. Back then, we had the course curriculum that we had to go through, and then once a week, Ben was giving us, a one-on-one call. We had our live stream call with him. Then we had homework to do on the curriculum. And then another day of the week, he would actually call each and one of us and do a one-on-one with us to talk about what was going on specifically with our brand and with our business, right? So it's the same thing in the ABS tribe that you see him talking to people and asking them, what's your goal? What's your gift? What you want to do? All of that kind of stuff. That's the same way he's been doing it. So I think that is one of the biggest takeaways is the consistency. And at the time, I was looking to take a social media course, and I was almost getting ready to take another one. But the reason why I took Brother Ben X course was because I saw his growth on social media for myself. I saw what he was doing on YouTube. I saw what he built on Facebook. So when he was coming out with a course and said he was going to teach it, and I knew that's what I wanted to do to grow my brand, I said, I'm going with him because I can literally see his results. And I know also through him being in the nation too, I'm like, okay, he's not going to try to steal my money. He's not going to just get me and give me some type of, watered down course or class based on social media. So those were the two biggest things for me. Was like I seen this brother grow where it started from, as far as like his YouTube shows and all that stuff, and also the authenticity that the nation gave him, and him looking like us, like, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'd rather do this than give it to the other people,
Wow. Well, thank you, man. It's been a lot of jewels in this interview, man. One of the things that I do like to ask everybody, since this is an unapologetically Black podcast, what can the Black community do to improve our situation and our conditions? I just want to ask you that. It's very open-ended. Wherever you want to go with it, you can go, brother. But I pose you that question.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And, as we are taught in the Nation of Islam, under the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, unity is what's going to allow our people to change their condition. Oftentimes you see there's still that division, interdivisional things that's going on, rifts and stuff, whether it comes from ideology, schools of thought, a misunderstanding, all those different things are barriers that keep us from actually coming together. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that our unity is more powerful than an atomic or nuclear bomb, or hydrogen bomb, excuse me. So when we come together, then we'll be able to fix 95% of our problems. If we come together and focus on common ground and don't focus on the things that keep us divided. So I think that's the biggest thing that we can do. It's just come together and see each other as brothers and sisters and say, okay, what can I bring to the table to help assist in the liberation of our people? If we do that, then we'll be able to, take it to the next level.
Beautiful answer. So you do have a book coming out. Can you tell us a little bit about that book, and also where can people follow you and all that good stuff as we round out this interview, sir?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. The book that's coming out is Ways to Stop Self-Destructive Behavior. I got inspired to do that when Jake and Ben was here at the Atlanta boot camp. And there was a brother in the audience that asked about how do you stop self-destructive behavior. So when he asked that, Jake went into his story and how he was able to stop some of his self-destructive behaviors. Brother Winfrey chimed in some of the ways he was to stop his self-destructive behaviors. And then I thought about myself and some of the things that I use to stop the self-destructive behaviors. And I thought, if that brother asked that question, how many other brothers are really dealing with that and don't know how, and don't have nobody to ask to get some type of guidance? So that's what that's what led me and inspired me to come with that ebook. And I'm going to be dropping. It's actually going to be releasing on New Year's Day, and I think it's going to be good to do it on New Year's because we're going into a new year. So we want to get new ways of thinking. We want to get a new mindset. We want to, as the scripture said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So we want to renew our minds and move differently in 2021 than we did in 2020. So that's what we're doing with that. I am in the process of getting the book edited. Then we're going to go ahead and get it and get the covers and stuff designed so we can have it packaged beautifully for our people and be able to go ahead and get that on New Year's Day. Where you can follow me at is at Brother King Cam on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Brother King Cam on all those social media platforms.
Awesome. All right, Brother Jason, you got any closing words for us, brother?
I would like to thank Brother Cam for coming in and giving us that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? This is a wonderful podcast. And everybody that has anything that they ever thought about getting into, the ABS tribe is the one thing that you guys should get into. It'll help benefit you in your life and help you bring some knowledge and peace of mind when it comes to social media marketing. I tell people all the time, pay attention to e-commerce. E-commerce is outworking the stock market. E-commerce is outworking everything at this point. So I want y'all to understand. Me and Brother Sean was talking about this a while back. Black Friday, in the first 2 hours of it being Black Friday, they made $2.2 billion. In the whole day, they made $5.1 billion. Now, 3 or 4 days after that, they made another $5 or $6 billion. Understand when we looking for a space, the brick and mortar is starting to dissipate a little quicker than we wanted to, but the e-commerce is infinite because no matter what you do, a website don't shut down unless the internet shut down. So if they ain't trying to get rid of the internet anytime soon, y'all better get yourselves together and get into this e-commerce game. And that's all I want to say. I want to send a condolence out to my frat brother. His sister passed away. Sister Natalie DeSalle Reed. If you don't know who that is, that's the lady that's off of BAP. She passed away today, and I want to send condolences out to my frat brother and let him know, Sherman, I love you, and I'll be here for you, brother.
For sure. All right, Brother Jason. Appreciate you for that. What you were saying?
No, I was saying that's just it's crazy that you mentioned that because that notification just dropped down on my phone about Natalie Reed passing away. So wow, like I said, man, really when you look at everything, first I want to give my condolences as well with that being your frat brother, for the loss. And also, man, when you look at all of the stuff that we talked about on this podcast and all of the past experiences, have led us to this point. And it really shows, how business is about, relationships, and I think that's been one of my strong suits is being able to build relationships with different people in different walks of life so that I'm able to go into different places, whether it's a political arena, whether it's community activism and social issues and social injustice, different religious houses, or even, when you talk about going to academia or even into the hood, with our people and just being able to resonate there. I think that's very important. And when you look at it, all of these different skills that we have, the network is what pushes all of this different stuff, So what's the old saying? It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And that's so important. That's so important. So, I would just encourage everybody to just build those relationships. You got to build those relationships.
That's awesome. All right. Well, Brother Cam, thank you for being one of our guests today. And you guys follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Remember, I told you we are 2 subscribers away from being able to have our own custom URL. So it's a historic moment. Let you be that 100th subscriber, please. So just go over to our YouTube page, hit that subscribe, and you'll be able to get all those notifications and things like that. And follow my brother Jason King at Jason King Biz on Instagram and everywhere else. Also follow the Boot Brother podcast page and my page, Hair Science AK. And follow my brother, brother King Cam on IG. He's always hitting us with a bunch of knowledge. He stays right on top of the current events and things like that. The only questionable thing that he really do is he's a Cowboys fan. Other than that, my brother is 100 grand.
Why do you gotta bring up the Cowboys? The Cowboys,
let it go.
Is not a question right now. It's not even a topic of conversation. We are worried about 2021. The Cowboys in 2021 right now. You talking about 2020. We in 2021 prepared for that season, sir. It's not even no reason to even bring that up.
So my boy has plenty of resiliency. He's a very, committed, loyal person because he's a Cowboys fan. But other than that, man, I appreciate y'all, brothers. Y'all have a good one. We'll check y'all out later. Peace, peace.
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 We invented everything. Yeah. Thank God I'm black. Thank God I'm black. Thank God I'm black. We invented everything. Yeah. Thank God I'm black. Thank God I'm black.